Annual Conference 2024. Are you ready? Believe me, it's hard to beat a person who keeps showing up every day. It shifts from winning to outlasting. And this year, the TIP Annual Conference has reached its outlasting realm. These are the words that hit us at the dawn of the introduction of this year's Annual Conference 2024 by Wendy Ologe, Africa's #1 parenting coach herself. My name is Joy Eshimokai. I am a public speaking coach. I am the founder of Prospeak Life Academy, and I am the official MC of the Intentional Parents Academy. We have grown tremendously over the years, and it's all thanks to you, our amazing community of intentional parents. Let's take a quick look back at our incredible journey. In 2018, we pioneered online conferencing to reach thousands of parents for free. In 2019, we had 25 coaches reach over 10,000 parents. In 2020, 27 coaches reached over 30,000 parents. In 2021, we had 30 coaches over 7 days reach over 50,000 parents. In 2022, we had 32 coaches over 7 days reaching 100,000 parents with over 1 million impressions on YouTube. In 2023, we had 30 coaches again over 7 days reach 150,000 parents with over 2 million impressions on YouTube. And now, TIP Conference 2024 with the team Raising Kings, those who make them, and those who sit at the table with King, with an outstanding 34 speakers. By the way, have you attended the TIP conference for 7 years straight? Then you will understand when I say you don't want to miss any session. It is an array of coaches from all over the world. The Academy has brought you the who is who of parenting to teach you parenting and make the world a better place. We are bringing you key players at this year's conference. Share the name of that speaker whom you can't wait to see. Do you know any parents or parents to be? Share with them, tag them now. Spread the word and let's make this the most impactful TIP annual conference yet. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. We can't wait to see you at the TIP Academy. My name is Joy Eshimokai. Together, let's raise kings.
And yes, it is TIP Annual Conference 2024, and you're welcome to that conference you don't ever want to miss. It is 7 years. You can't beat us to it. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. You're welcome, and to this conference themed Raising Kings. Those who make kings and those who sit at the table with kings. Today, we're going to embark on this journey to understanding the inspiration and one that is really close to my heart, rooted in the vision of intentional parenting. Sometime this year, the insight to actually put this as the theme of this year came up. However, the idea of raising kings came to me during a moment of reflection of the future that we want for our children in a world full of challenges and also full of opportunities. So we need to prepare our children not just to survive, but to thrive, to lead, and to make a meaningful impact. After the TIP Annual Conference 2023, I sat and the next thing, I started to think about was raising kings. I thought that it was just for us to use it as our framework that we run the academy on, which is actually what our framework sits on. But this year, I got the leading to get this to be a thing that every single speaker at this annual conference will speak on. You do not want to be that. 34 people will be speaking on this one theme in the next 7 days. Raising kings is about nurturing the potential of every child, because every child and every person you see is a leader in his own right. And like we say in the Intentional Parents Academy, the messiahness of your child. Every child is born a messiah. Every child is born with a solution to a problem. But the question will be, will you be able to find out the blueprint? I love the scripture that says, train up a child on the way he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it. We put it every day, become like a rhetoric, but beyond all of the things we put, have we really sat down to think about it? Number one, it means that where the child is going, somebody needs to lead the child there. Do you know where the child is going? That's the first question. But we have all come up with this, thing that says, parenting doesn't have a manual. Is that really true? But the creator of the human being says that there is a way the child should go. So your first point of call is to find out, what is that way my child should go? I believe that before the end of this conference, you would have a lot of moments of reflection, a moment of looking for that thing that your child has been called for, looking for that king that the child has been made out for. Now, raising king is about nurturing potentials. This type of parenting requires a shift in your mind. I need you to understand that it's about intentionality in our actions, in our words, even in our environment that we create for our children. It's about instilling values of accountability, values of resilience, and then your vision. It's about teaching them to hear from the person who has made them. It's about being able to think critically. It's about working collaboratively. It's about harnessing their creativity to make a global impact. And here it is today. Parents, this is your call to action. Teachers, this is your call to action. The time to get ready to take your position, your posture, is actually more important than your strategy. Because the Bible says that the children are like arrows in the hands of a mighty man. And I want to ask, who is that mighty man? The mighty man is you. And the positioning of how to throw the arrow for the mighty man is more important than the strategy, because if you are not standing well, you would actually not be able to throw the arrow to hit his target. And if you're going to be raising kings, those who make kings, those who sit on the table with kings, then this conference is for you. You're here and we're excited to have you here. Our children's future depends on the foundation you laid today. We are going to be proactive, and we're going to be deliberate, and we're going to be intentional about how we are raising them. We're not only raising our children to succeed, but we're raising them to lead. We're raising them to make a difference in the world. Join me today as we walk through the transformative journey of raising kings together. We will equip ourselves with tools, with knowledge and inspiration to save and also lead the leaders of tomorrow. Let us all make a commitment today to our children's future. Let us all make commitment today to those who make kings. Let us all make commitment today to those who sit at the table with kings. Kingship has a way to actually deliver on it. And I'm going to end with this. The Bible says that the journey of the foolish man wearieth every single one of them because they do not know how to get to the city. And the journey of raising kings, those who make kings, and those who sit at the table with kings, there is a way. If you do not find the way, you will be weary. I am excited to announce to you that on this platform, you have the way. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for joining us in the next 7 days where we are going to be having coaches from all over the world. Sit tight, get ready with your pen and paper, be well positioned, do not forget, so that you can get the rhema that is going to come out of this whole conversation and you begin to run with it. See you at the top where we sit at the table with kings. My name is Wendy Ulugi, and I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. Welcome here.
Welcome to the Intentional Parent Academy TIP 2024 Annual Conference tagged Raising Kings. I am Ben Wale from Rivers State, Nigeria. Before I met Coach Mindy Olonge, I have been into parenting, counseling at different levels, and my parenting style and method was just a mixture of many things put together, principles, ideas, processes mixed up together. Coming across Coach Mindy Olonge brought about the streamlining of my parenting processes, systems, and structures. My journey in the inner circle has been very, very eventful, transformative, rewarding, and knowledge gathering. Since I joined the inner circle in 2024, all the old practices and styles of parenting I was used to have been dropped with the new ideas I acquired in the inner circle. Today, my parenting style is pursued with a sense of intentionality, with a sense of humility, meekness, and civility. I see parenting as all about me and not the people I'm trying to parent. I have realized the importance of skill acquisition and also the power of connection in all I do with my children. Since 2024, I joined the inner circle. I have been transformed. My idea of parenting has changed. For you to parent effectively, you must be able to connect with the person you want to correct. Without knowledge, you cannot go far in the 21st century as far as parenting is concerned. By the time you join the inner circle, all the normalized parental approaches and styles you have known over the years will be rewired. Coach Windy is going to revive your parenting skills, and he is going to make you understand what it means to be an effective and caring parent in the 21st century. In TIP, we create movements and not just programs and courses. That is why you have to be part of it. I have to especially thank Coach Mindy Olonge for the opportunity given to me to express myself in this TIP 2024. I am not taking it for granted. My advice to viewers, find it very, very necessary to be part of the Intentional Parent Academy program. They will not regret it. Thank you and God bless.
Are you wondering the kind of world that both your children and mine will be living in a few years to come? The distractions, the trends, their friends, the media. It's never going to get better. I am dedicating my life to mentoring valuable and resourceful girls at the Girls' Hub. However, I am doing more than that. I am creating resources that can empower, equip, and transform them. Transformation does not come by mere confession, by wishing, by sitting and whining and wondering and doing nothing. It comes by you doing something, and that something is to get your children to read. I have written 9 books that can transform your child's life. From as low as 6-7 years, your children can get to read books that are self-development, books that are practical, books that have stories and lessons and everything you would have wanted to teach your child, but in an age-appropriate manner. I have books for girls as well. Good news is we have these bumper sales happening this period, and up to the end of July 31st, you can get these books for a whooping 27,500 naira and save 17,500. Aren't I kind enough? My name is Auntie Timaume. I urge you to get these books right now, and after that, get your girls to join the Girls Hall.
And yes, we are live. It's day 6 of the TIP annual conference, and it's been back to back shades of awesomeness. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for today's section. We are glad to have you, and thank you for staying tuned. Thank you so much. My name is Amaka Vetu Nathaniel, and with me is Chini Udofia, and together we'll be hosting this session. We want to say a big thank you to Coach Wendy and the TIP Academy team for this rare privilege. We do not take it for granted. Thank you for having us anchor this section. Trust me, these sections, this annual conference 2024 has been back to back, transformative, informative, knowledge pack, wisdom bank, and we do not take it for granted. Who has been here from day one up till now? Chini, have you been here?
Oh, yes, I have been here, but though I missed some, but I have not failed to catch up on the replay. Oh, Amaka, this conference has been nothing like it. It has been nothing like it. You know, each year when we have a conference, it's like, oh, we've never seen anything, but this year's zone has been wow, has been awesome, has been really, really awesome. You know, following the sessions, there were some of them when they come up, it will be like, okay, it's actually not some of them, I think almost all of them, you know, it will be like, oh, this is reaffirming what Coach Wendy has been telling us, build structures, routine. But yesterday's session, when Coach David Folaremi came up, it was nothing like it. I've listened to him quite a number of times. I've never seen him in that posture. He took quite a different posture entirely. Last night was instructional for parents, and then the last session was wow. And then the last session was wow. You know, I just want to appreciate God that I am parenting at this time where, you know, we have access to knowledge, you know, and I began to wonder for parents that are not in the inner circle, I imagine how they are going to take all of this. Honestly, Amaka, last night at a point, I was afraid. You know, we have heard about cultism, but a cultism is spiritual. Cultism is serving a deity. I've never heard that before. And then the mortgaging your destiny. I had to do replay till like 3 a.m. this morning. I needed to get all the points and follow through. Honestly, this conference, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it, really.
That's true. So for those that are saying, while all these hypes and brags about TIP, let me tell you, TIP is the hype. And we have the bragging right because our results are proven. and our results are proven and our evidence are obvious, and you can see that the structure of TIP is built to last, and the delivery so far has been all shades of excellent. Take a look at my hair. It was made by my 9-year-old daughter, and yes, that's because TIP shows us the possibility and helps us to dare the impossible. TIP helps us to build skills in our children and in ourselves too, as parents. And now, what is the Intentional Parent Academy all about? It's an annual subscription-based program where we have trained over 5,000 parents, and we want to train more parents like you that is here to join the TIP. So why won't we brag when we have results that are proven? If you are yet to join the TIP, you are yet to book your slot, please do that right now. Don't think about it. Someone, like about 10 persons have been reaching me. I need to book a slot. I said, do it now. That urge comes when you are watching this content like this. Just do it now. Decision that you can make. Book a single slot for 5,000 naira, while a double slot goes for 10,000 naira, and you have between now and the 1st of December to pay up. And that's the good thing about the TIP, because we give you enough time to pay up for the next cohort. Now we are about to take just a review from one of the yadas or from one of our sponsors. Then we'll be back, because this section is going to be heated. Sit right there.
Akin Benjamin is a passionate teacher, inspirational speaker, youth mentor, and a social sector manager. He has taught in various international schools of repute in Nigeria. Akin Benjamin was programs manager and later acting executive director of the International Youth Enterprise Organization, Junior Achievement Nigeria, where he trained many youths in and out of secondary schools in Nigeria and Kenya. He is a Coca-Cola Africa Scholar and an alumnus of the Africa America Institute, New York, and the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos, Nigeria, where he was in the first set of social sector management program jointly organized by the two institutions earlier mentioned. He prepared the Black Diamond Students Company of Dowen College, Lagos, Nigeria, to win the first ever HP Responsible Business Ideas Contest in Africa in 2009. He presented a talk on brand funding, implication for not-for-profit organizations at the Youth Converge 2.0, which took place at the Echo Hotel 2010. He was guest speaker at the Career Guidance Seminar organized for students of Lagos State at the National Arts Theatre, Igamu, Lagos. Akin Benjamin is fully involved in raising responsible young adults who are fully equipped to function profitably as global citizens wherever they find themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Intentional Parents Annual Conference 2024, Akin Benjamin.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. We are so privileged to have you, and we are excited to have you for this section. We are pumped and ready. Who is ready in the comment section? Share the fire emoji, roll out the red carpet. Let's welcome Coach Akin Benjamin. Thank you so much, sir, for finding time to be with us today. We know you have a lot to share with us. And so you have the floor for 40 minutes, and then we'll be back for the Q&A section. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. And we thank God for all that God is doing through Coach Wendy Ologe and the TIP. I'm happy to be here again this year to be able to share some of the ideas that I have on this topic. Parenting is great joy. But you see, parenting is also great task. And that is why, for me, thinking about parenting should start while you are ready. By the time you are thinking, who do you want to marry? whether you want to, how you want to marry and all of that, what would happen in your marriage. Parenting is not what you start thinking about when you are in it, except if it happens that maybe you got into parenting without preparation. We should not get into parenting without preparation. And the thing is that even if it happens, in case, somebody got pregnant for you, or you got pregnant for somebody, a child was born and all of that, it is never over, because you see, God can make all things work together for good. But the truth of the matter is that nothing can take the place of learning. Nothing can take the place of learning. God will not be able to help. God cannot help the ignorant. Wow. God cannot help someone who decides to be ignorant. He says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's not Satan's people. That's God's people. And so there is a responsibility for all of us to be prepared and to acquire knowledge. Our forefathers, our parents in the past did the best they could. And there's a tendency to want to blame them. How did they do it? We know better now, and all of that. But you see, I don't go that route. Because you see, I'm not in haste to judge people in history. Because you have to consider the experiences they had, their environment, the governing philosophies of the time, and all of that. So that you don't quickly judge people in history. They did the best with what they had. Some of the methods may not have been right, but they were well intentioned. So that today, I've said all of that to say that today we have access to better information. We have access to greater knowledge. Even the Bible says that in the last days, knowledge shall increase. And so the purpose of knowledge is to wage war with it, is to work with it, and to get it first of all, and then work with it. Because it is not just the truth that will set you free, it is the truth that you know. It is the truth that you go after that will make you free. So there is a progressive revelation of knowledge and truth for our own generation, in the sense that today at the touch of your finger on your set, you are in the global village and you are accessing research, you are accessing information from all over the world, which was not possible for our forefathers. And so we have to be lenient when we think about the past. But you see, in being lenient, we must be careful not to judge everything they did as right. Because you see, this is how I will go about it. We must not judge everything they did as right. There were people who did right with parenting. There were those who did not. And predominant culture was, in Africa especially, because I am concerned really about negotiating more dignifying approaches for raising the African child. I'm very much concerned about that as I go about going to schools and talking to parents and all of that. More dignifying approach. We're talking about raising kings, discipline anchor for kings. To me, the first thing that comes to heart is about the dignity of kings. And let me tell you, the manner by which we have gone about discipline in the years past, did not dignify our children. So many people were raised in a way that did not dignify them. People saw children as little kids that are not so different from even the beasts that cannot think. And they were supposed to be compelled to do a lot of things, even without any explanation to them. What am I talking about? You look at situations where children could not even stay around elders to learn, where if they were with elders and they looked too intently at either one or two of the elders, they'll be told to shut their eyes, and if they want to even venture into asking questions, they'll be told to leave, especially in Africa. And so children but like I tell people that children, it was as if children must not be heard, children must not even be seen where elders are, and children, cannot even learn much, and so we need to have a paradigm shift, because I have also, as I followed the previous discussants and facilitators on this program, I saw a lot of people reacting to the issue of harsh discipline and all of that. For me, there is a fundamental error about our perception about what discipline is and what punishment is. You see, that's a fundamental error, and until we get that right, we may not even be standing on a good pedestal to discuss this. So punishment is not discipline. I like to always emphasize that. Oh, that boy did something wrong, I gave him 3 dirty slaps. That's not discipline. You just punished that child. All right, because discipline is teaching to correct. Discipline is, like the Bible says, training up a child in the way that it should go. And that relates so much to the title of what I'm speaking to, the anchor. Discipline is an anchor for kings, anchor to raise kings. The idea that you don't discipline by harmful methods of correction, because that's not the way it should be. But that happened largely in the past, because our parents and their parents didn't have access to what we have access to today in knowledge and truth, and that is a fact. So they say, oh, we did well, oh, we turned out well. I say, you could have turned out better. You could have turned out better. And I would tell stories, along these lines, but for example, in terms of looking for what a child should become, looking for his strengths and what he enjoys doing and what potentials he has, parents in the past may ignore all of that and say, you must become this. This is what we want you to become. Forcing their way, forcing their own envisioned future, whether right or wrong, on the child. And then the child starts to underperform. That has happened to many children whose parents forced them into courses, into disciplines and courses in university that they should not do. And I don't want to go into details, but the idea is to train up a child in a way that it should go, so that when he grows up, he will not depart from it. And then, how do you train? Because training is not taming. You tame animals. You tame goats, you tame dogs. You don't tame human beings, you train them. The Bible is a wonderful book. It's an excellent book. It's a train up. It's not about taming up, T-A-M-E. It's about training up the child. Okay, so quickly getting to what I want to discuss, and by saying, because I really wanted to address some of the issues that were raised, because I've been on public debates, even on television, on the issue of discipline. A lot of people say, oh, the Bible says this, the Bible, of course, the Bible says that, but then there is the spirit and there's the letter of the word, and it's the letter killeth. Okay, so when you say, the rod of correction will drive the thing out, this, that, you should beat a child. If you don't beat a child, this will happen. And I tell people, show me an example from Genesis to Revelation where that was done on a child. Where it was done, in the Old Testament, even where that was mentioned, where was a child beaten with the rod? Where? And I keep asking people, show me an example. When I saw Christ use the rod, and it was on adults in the temple where they were buying and selling. It was Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ used the rod. And when we talk about the rod, we're not talking about a tiny cane. And I challenge Christians and I say, look, there are better ways to do it. Love is the greatest power in the universe. The world did so much evil, but God said he still loved the world and gave. So the idea is that you correct in love. Some people say, oh, you must, and a lot of people say you can't be friends with your children. I am ready to contest that with anybody. I've had some of the people assumed to have the greatest speakers say, no, you are not your child's friend. And I laugh, I really laugh. Because if you're not their friend, they cannot take mentorship from you. You must establish, if you're not your child's friend, being your child's friend does not stop you from being the parent of that child. It doesn't. It doesn't. You cannot be we cannot parent in the 21st century like we were parented, like they parented us. That a father comes in and everybody runs away because the father is coming in, and that because he's not friendly with anybody, and that the mother even is not very careful in the house, and the father sits down and switches up changes the channel whatever anybody was watching. No excuse, no nothing, and he's not friendly with anybody. That's not how to do it. And that's why parents would give instructions and children will just ignore and they will disobey, or they will carry it out in your presence, but once you leave, they get back into default because they did not see that as what they didn't understand what you were doing, and you are not passing it across in a friendly manner. So first of all, establish friendship, and don't let them make greater friends outside that will give them the wrong things. So be a friend, be the friend, but then be a mentor. Like I tell people, a friend is that person that accepts you whichever way you are, and so on. That is the starting place. I accept my child. This is my child. He is a good child. Even if they come with disabilities, what we call disabilities in quote, that's a gift from God. I've accepted my child. All right. But then that is at a level of friendship. Say, well, I am bonding. I am a friend. But if a friend accepts you in whichever way you are, a mentor loves you too much to leave you the way you are. So parents must not just be friends, they must become mentors. And that is where the balance is needed. You cannot be your child's friend. Forget that thing. If you're not your child's friend, that child will find friends on the streets. That child will find friends with the wrong people. You must first of all establish friendship with your children and then become their mentor. So the technique, the way to balance that is what we must seek. And then I also want to address this. When people say, oh, the Bible says, I'm a Christian, but I've been a teacher for over 3 decades as well, and I can count the number of times I've used the cane, either on my own children or other people's children that I taught. So what are we talking about? And I raised great people, I've raised responsible citizens to the glory of God, of my own children, of other people's children. Why? Because if you want to obey just the letter of scriptures, because I saw people dragging Coach Wendy about these issues. And I say, look, if you go to the book of Deuteronomy, it says that if you have a stubborn child, bring him before the elders and seek permission for that stubborn boy to be stoned to death. Why would you want to obey scriptures halfway? Why don't you obey this one also with the beating of the rod? And how many of you even use the rod to beat? Because you only use pancere, some small cane. You should use the rod. The rod in the days of Jesus were strewn with blades and all of that. I'm saying let us move away from just running after the letter of scriptures. Let us get the spirit of scriptures. So I needed to address that because I followed some of the posts and everything. It really, really disturbed me. Because you see, the reason why you rush to beat and to yell and to do all this to your children is because they are little. And you have some advantage, So if you look at your life, some of the mistakes that the children make, is it that you don't make mistakes at all again? Who beats you for that? Who yells at you for that? Even when you're at work, places where you work, if you are corrected in a way that is not really tight, that is not dignifying, you feel bad. And so who says children are not also human? So that is the first foundation I'm laying. Okay, so I will now go into discipline as an anchor to raise kings. And I'm going to say, first of all, where to start is the mindset. Our mindset. So you see, I was already battling a mindset in the minds of those who are participants and those who are contributing to this. But look, we need to shift from the harsh punishment, harsh discipline methods. That's a mindset. This is how my parents did it. This is how my grandparents did it. This is how I must do it. The insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that will get a different result. That is insanity. And people say, oh, it was better then. I say it's not better. Those methods raise the corrupt politicians that we have all these harsh punishment. You think all these are politicians did not go through harsh parenting? You think they didn't go through harsh parenting? You think the corrupt politicians in Nigeria? I work with children that I understand. I work with vulnerable children. Sometimes I work with children on the streets of Nigeria. And a lot of times, the reason why most of them give is harsh treatment from home. That's what sent them under the bridges at Oshodi. Do you understand? So what are we talking about? Let's just cut the crap and move on. Let us have a mindset. See, you need the proper mindset as parents. Proper mindset. You need to be in a position where you are ready and willing to learn. I tell people, I said the worst disease anybody can have in this world is not being teachable. Not being teachable. You know, there's the comfort zone of the way. This is the way it has always been. And I tell people that things do change. Change is the most constant thing in nature. In the part of Nigeria where I came from, tribal marks was needed way back for identification in case of slavery. If they caught you, the slave raiders could catch you, and you get to a place where you see people with your tribal marks, you know you've met family. Today, nobody needs that. With the NIN, BVN, CCC, DDD, and all the kinds of identification things that we have gotten. And so people are dispensing with that. We don't need it. Things must change. And so you must be somebody who has a growth mindset, who believes that, things are evolving. I must find the best way to manage my home, manage my children, raise my children, get knowledge. I mean, you're talking about the inner circle of the TIP. Get into that and acquire knowledge. I mean, I thank Coach Wendy for what she's doing. Some of us do not have, that we don't put that kind of structure on ground because we are busy with some other things. But fantastic what she's doing. Get knowledge. Get into that. Get knowledge. All right. Be a person that is a long life learner. Do not say this is the way they've done it. This is the way I will continue to do it. What kind of mindset are we talking about that you should acquire if you want to raise kings? The mindset that even first of all sees your child as a dignified king. I taught for decades. I've always looked at children that I teach as kings, princes, princesses, queens. It starts from what you are seeing. How are you seeing the children? The children that you have even given birth to. How are you seeing them? Do you have a mindset that they are great people? Do you have a mindset that you are raising kings? If you don't have a mindset that you are raising kings, you cannot raise kings. If you don't have a mindset that you are raising queens, princes, and princesses, you cannot raise them. There's no hard and fast about it. You can't. So you first of all need to work on your mindset, and then to be in that place where you can begin to see the children that you have and that you would have. What vision do you have for them? What perception do you have of your children? I mean, I don't allow people yell on my children right from when they were little. I don't allow anybody yell on them because I don't yell on them. I don't allow those people that will say, in my place, in my part of the country, an elderly person can say, say a little bit, say, my wife. I stop that immediately. My daughter is not your wife. Please don't. I don't want that said to my children. Don't try that. Yeah, she's not your wife. God forbid. I mean, that you don't throw some jokes around my children. Not if you beat them, I'm coming for you. And because beating is not discipline. Because I have ways of. If you want me to train you as a teacher on how to discipline, I will. I will. Because not beating does not mean we are not disciplined. We don't leave vacuum. We put things in place. We put trainings in place. We put consequences in place. We put a lot of praises in place. So many things that we put in place to fill that vacuum. The fact that we are not beating, we are not yelling. So we are not lazy. We are doing much more work than rushing for the cane. The adrenaline that makes you rush for the cane. That's not what we do. That gives you a very short result. Doesn't give you lasting results. And that's the truth. Okay, so what's the mindset? Look at the mindset that the mother of Jacob, Rebecca, the mindset she had about Jacob. The fact that she knew something about that boy, and she was ready to support that boy to be great. She saw the future of Jacob. Even when Jacob was a deceitful person, supplanted, she supported. That's what the people know me for supporting this. She supported him through his weaknesses and everything, seeing beyond it, until that man emerged as Israel, the Israel of God. So it's important to have the right mindset. Look at Moses. He said because they perceived that he was a goodly child, they decided, no, we are not going to let this one be killed like every other person. The mother, the sister, everybody provided an environment. They supported. They came up with a strategy. Moses survived. Moses not only survived, Moses thrived and became a king in the real sense of it. So that this is what this is all about. What is your mindset? What kind of mindset? Look at the mindset of even Joseph and Mary that raised Jesus. I mean, they said they made up this. Some of the things that God told them, they said, yeah, the mother made up this. She pondered on these things in her mind. They were ready to safeguard the child. They were ready to take him first to Egypt, back again, and they mentored him. They mentored him, and they raised him to be able to fulfill divine destiny. That's the thing. That's the thing. There were no records of anybody harassing him as a child and everything. There were no records of that. So let us get that right. If you don't have the right mindset, you cannot raise kings. If you don't have a mindset that will raise kings, forget it. Forget it. You cannot raise them, because you will not raise them with dignity. And let me tell you, if you cannot raise your children with dignity, they will not have the self-esteem and the courage that it takes to emerge as kings, whether in Africa or anywhere in the world. And that's why when I started teaching some 30 or some years ago, I wrote down a vision and I said, raising responsible citizens, one period per class. Raising responsible citizens, one period per class. Okay, raising responsible global citizens. That's what, raising responsible global citizens, one period per class. I wrote that down. To the glory of God, I've achieved it. Do you have a vision that you wrote down? Do you have something you are working with as a parent? Or you're just raising your children the way your parents raised you and the way their own parents raised them. So your mindset is important. What do you see? You cannot have. It is what you see that guarantees what you would have, even with your children. There is a place in my part of Nigeria where they always curse their children and all of that. You're always cursing their children. And the people, I won't say stupidly, at the beginning of the year, they will now go and sacrifice the whole cow. The mothers especially, they will sacrifice the whole cow and be saying, all the curses that they will put on their children this year, may it not come to pass. Why go that way in the first place? Why? If you know that you have to make a sacrifice for your curses on your children to not come to pass, why lay curses in the first place? And when you see meet people from that part of the country today, it takes a lot of grace from God for them, not even as educated people, not to rain curses on their children. And it become like a game, like a sport. But you see, it is not. I have never, up to today, I've never said a single negative thing over my children. And this is the truth. What is your mindset? My mother, for example, had a mindset. I don't have so much, but my mother had a mindset to raise kings. My mother had people who went to school and all of that in her own family, married into my family, my father's family, where they did not yet have a graduate. And she felt, no, this in my lifetime, my own children will go to the university. And she said she had a mindset of raising graduates in a family where they've not had the first one yet. Okay, and she decided to be, and she even did some visual things for herself. The wrapper she used on the day of her wedding, she decided to put it together, put in a wardrobe, and add a covenant with God that when my son is going to university, this will be the cover cloth that he will use. So I grew up asking mommy, she opens her wardrobe, very beautiful, I said, mommy, let me have. She said, no, I've told God that you are going to university. Nobody has gone there, your father's family, but you will go. And when you are going, this is what you will use to be covering yourself. That I have decided I will not wear it again until the day when I give you. So she did not wear that cloth. I mean, you can imagine that kind of mindset. To the glory of God, she did it. Not only did she do it with me, she also did it with my brother. So the idea is that we need to have a mindset. I don't want to go deeper into that, but the day I gained my admission to university, the night before I was going, she started rolling on the floor, thanking the Almighty, and said, God is a covenant-keeping God, and gave me the cover cloth. That is what parents, that is that is a mindset. I also learned that from her. All right. So now, next thing is it takes the right vision and mindset to raise a king, and then pay the price to put in the right anchor. Because we're living in a society and time where, you know, the waster is all over the place. The waster is everywhere, wasting youth. We see them online. We see them everywhere. How are you going to pay the price to put in the right anchor as a form of discipline for your child? How are you going to pay attention? The attention the child needs. Some of us we're too busy building business than paying attention to our children. These children are supposed to be the one that will build the businesses later. I work with people. Sometimes I see, I just came back from a particular polytechnic where we did evaluation and everything. Look, that was left, the business, a great business was left for children who are not ready to maintain it. Who the place has gone, you know, and we are trying to see, oh, how can we salvage this? The mother is late, the father is late, they're shutting down the businesses their parents do. Why? Because while attention was given to building businesses, the children were not properly raised in a way that they would also be able to maintain what is going to be left for them. Very important. Are you willing to pay the price? If you don't have the time, the quantity of time to give attention to your children, can you schedule a time like I used to do, one-on-one with my children? You have a meeting time. You know that this particular child has this day, maybe once or maybe twice a month. When they were much younger, more than that, I'm taking that one and we're strolling out, and we're going to have a discussion that's only just daddy and daughter. Okay, sometimes it's a family meeting, because that should be structured. There should be a structure where you have family meeting, where you install the beliefs and even the culture of your family, and some of the things that we reenact, even as festivals or as ceremonies and all of that, the way it should be done, so that it doesn't leave them. Because you see, part of what you would pay in price is role modeling. When you're looking for a real anchor to train on, it is not so much of what you say, it is actually what you do. It is what you do that the children see. One of the limiting factors for adults, for men as they grow up, and women, is the background that they are coming from and what has been installed in them based on what they saw growing up. Not so much of what they heard. It's good what they heard, but it is better to train them by a lifestyle so that they see. Even if you are raising them in a place that is not so beautiful, take them out sometimes to see beautiful places. Let them know that the world doesn't end in the area where you are living. Let them see the world. Let them take them out to the level that you can afford, and then get them to envision a better future for themselves. But then, more than that, live a lifestyle that agrees with what you are saying, so that they have an anchor. Your own lifestyle, the example. There are no better ways than the example that you live for them to see. God spoke about Abraham. He said, shall I do a thing and not tell Abraham, seeing that he will teach his children to follow after? That's very, very important. Very, very important. Are you somebody that God can depend on to raise kings? What is your lifestyle? What role modeling? My father died when my younger brother was just 12. So I had the privilege of raising the young man as if he was my son. Today, I'm very proud of him. I am very proud, and I thank God for his grace. And that's a boy that I never, he doesn't have a memory of, oh, this one, my brother beat me up. And there's a 17-year gap between us. I could be his father. I raised him to be a responsible young man. I lived the life before him. He's into IT and everything in a Nigeria where his age mates are into Yahoo. And he knows a lot about network hardware and everything. Sometimes some Yahoo guys will lock him up in a room and say, you know this thing better than us. Join us to do it. Say, I am not doing this. I am not. I am. On many occasions, say, if you are just part of us, we will move. He said, no, I'm not. They will repair your systems for you. fix your internet issues, this and this and that. Beyond that, I am not getting to that Yahoo thing. Why? There is an anchor. There is an anchor. Not an anchor put in there by beatings, not an anchor put in there by yellings, an anchor that was put there by deliberately training him and deliberately living a life before him that he cannot. When on my 40th, he spoke at my 40th birthday, and people were looking at it. He said, this is his real mentor. He learned so much from me. Today he's raising his own family and he's doing excellently. That's what I'm talking about. I have daughters. One of my daughters is a lawyer now. The other one is university. I don't panic. My heart doesn't palpitate on them. Wait, what will be happening? No. Why? Because if you have paid the price upfront and you trust God with them, once I pray for them, I release them into the hands of God, plus the lifestyle and the training I've given them, I believe that they will be fine. And they have been, to the glory of God. I've not had to, hey, what will be happening to them? No. The idea is to put the anchor there early. And it is said that between 0 to 7, which is one area where most people miss it, between 0 to 7 is where you need to do a lot. And that's where you want to just pamper children, where you want to just, no. If you can get and win your child between the ages of 0 and 7, then you will have a malleable, a better behaved teenager. If between 0 and 7 you put in the work to win, not to damage, to win, not to injure, not to whip the child, but to win the child to you, to train that child, even between 0 to 7, it will be easier for you to manage them as teenagers. If you don't do it well between 0 to 7, it is not over, but it means that you will do a lot more to be able to now install the softwares that you need to install. Because see, between 0 to 7, the brain of the child is still open to the things that you can install there. That's why the Bible says train him up when he's a child. When he's very, very instructive. Train up when they are children, so that when they grow up, because the anchor would have been installed, softwares have been installed, and even if they seem to be moving away, there's a GPS inside them that will re-navigate them to the right path. And that is the truth. It will re-navigate them to the right path, so that you just keep praying for them, whether you are there or not. I am not anxious about my children, whether I know they will live well. And we are always in touch. So use social media to your best advantage. You know, always be in touch with them. If their children are not with you, if, for example, they are teenagers and they are not at home, make sure that they have access to you and you have access to them, and you are updating. And even when I see things on their social media pages, and I'm like, oh, because I'm there, you need to also be there to be able to see what is happening to them if you have teenagers, and not necessarily to say, oh, I saw this, oh, I'm going to kill you today. No, that's not it. You want to find out why they did it. You want to find out, you want to show them better examples. You want to remind them of the better path. And that is it. And they will fall in line. You know, once they know why. You see, a lot of us don't want to answer the question why to our children. In the pursuit of putting the anchor, you will need to be able to answer why to your children. See, because if they don't get understanding, they don't get understanding, there's trouble. You just want them to know what you have told them. You want them to want to tell them what you have told them. And I keep saying that knowledge answers the question, what is this one? Which we do so well in Africa. You're telling them this is this one, this is that one. What about understanding? They tell you, why is this one like this? Daddy, why did you do this? Daddy, why is mommy this way? Daddy, why should I do this? And why shouldn't I? At that point, African parents want to knock their heads. No, because the understanding answers the question why. They want understanding. They actually want understanding from you. And if they cannot get understanding, they cannot move to the next level, because the next level is how. How? The wisdom answers the question how. We need to be parents who are not just ready to give them knowledge, but we are ready to give them understanding, to lead them into understanding, because they also discover a lot by themselves, and then to guide them into wisdom. Because that is the thing. By the time they've acquired wisdom about how to comport and to conduct themselves, they've taken responsibility over their own personal discipline. Whether you are there or not, life goes on well. I call it prepaid peace. Prepaid, you prepaid, not postpaid, prepaid peace. Or is it postpaid now that you have already paid for? You have already put in the work, and you are praying because God will not do that which you should do. We need to put in the work, and God will bless our work with our children. All right. I hope I'm still very much and so I said freedom is sweet, but it must always be guided. You know, the idea of anchor is not to say you hold them down, because when we say anchor, discipline is not to tie them down. Because you see, I wrote a book some years back, I think around 2007, Your Teenager and You, and in that book I was saying, give your children guided and guarded exposure. The idea of discipline being an anchor does not mean they will not have freedom, because you need to also try them with the freedom, how they will manage it. But you see, when you do that, it has to be guided and be guarded, so that you create situations for them where you watch them undo things, where you let them even make mistakes, as long as you cannot injure them, as long as you cannot damage their destinies, and then you come in to support and give them supportive discipline. Supportive discipline supports them through the process, and then they get better and they learn. So freedom is sweet, and if they're not trained and anchored in discipline to manage freedom, the freedom can damage. Freedom without accountability, freedom without authority over them, freedom can damage if it is not anchored in proper discipline. Proper discipline, the type that will not say they cannot even move at all, but the kind that says to them, okay, fine, you can go, let me try you with this level of freedom. Let me give you this level of liberty, and let us see how you manage it. You know that this is affecting a lot, even in business. A lot of people manage their business till they died, and their children cannot manage it. So the idea that, oh, they will not be able to, why don't you allow them to begin to, I'm getting to some other things, I don't know who this is for, but a lot of people are having problems with succession planning. I see a lot of businesses now in ruins, and we are trying to salvage, especially in the education sector, because the parents, they didn't allow children to begin to get involved in what they were doing, and let them manage while they are still here, to see how they will manage it, correct where they make mistakes, and then let them be. So it can be that damaging if you don't know how to, manage freedom and do guided and guarded exposure for your children as an anchor for discipline to raise kings. Very, very important. A correct view of discipline, therefore, is that it is teaching to prevent errors. It is also teaching to correct mistakes. You teach to prevent error, you teach to correct mistakes. Discipline is also guiding through a task, supporting the child to be successful as he or she handles tasks or challenges. That is supportive discipline. Discipline is not mere punishment, verbal or physical. It is not. And discipline is teaching and training. Okay? So look at the life of, I know that my time is almost up, but let me just dive into a bit of the gospel and into a bit of the Bible, well, the book that I believe, that's my manual. Look at King Saul. So we were talking about anchor, raising an anchor for kings. Saul obviously did not have the discipline that it takes or it took to be functional and be successful as a king, because you see, he was raised in a hurry. He emerged, and because we wanted, he emerged in a hurry, and he himself was an impatient person, because there was a place he was told, the prophet told him, just wait there, do this, I'm coming for the sacrifice, I'm coming to do the sacrifice. But he went ahead with the sacrifice. He was impatient. There's a lot of impatience, and impatience is a trait you must watch out for your children, to begin to twerk and to ensure that they don't go down with pride. Saul was full of pride, that they couldn't get the anchor that was needed. Disobedience. Was disobedient. Insecurity and jealousy. He had insecurity and jealousy of King David, of the young David. Because they say, oh, Saul has killed his 1,000, King David has killed his 10,000, and that was the beginning of Wahala. So Saul didn't have it. He was rash. He was rash, uncontrolled anger. He had uncontrolled anger. And a sense of neglect of duty and faithlessness. Because I need to put this, so that was Saul. You don't want to raise a king that will not last. You don't want to raise a king that will fall in their prime. You want to give them an anchor, a discipline that they will learn to be patient. They will learn to push through. They will learn to be humble and not proud, not arrogant. They will learn to be obedient to authority, and ask questions where they are not clear, and all of that. They would eschew insecurity and jealousy. They don't need that. Teach them that they are not competing with others, they are competing with their last best performance, and that they should move on in life. They should be the best that they can be. And that's what I tell my children. Is this your best? Even when they bring out their results and it's not, is this your best? Answer that question honestly. And they will answer, so I could have done better in this. And they said, no, next time, you always give your best. Your best, only your best is good for you before you even think about whether it's good for me. Only your best. And I'm not comparing you with anybody. There's no need to compare your children with anybody. But let's also look at King David. The preparation of David as a king was thorough. How are you preparing your own king? How are you preparing your son, your daughter to be kings and queens, princes and princesses? There was faithfulness in small things. You teach them faithfulness in small things. David, while in the wilderness, was faithful in small things. Okay? And courage and faith. They need courage. They need faith. Today we see children who easily give up on things. Some of these Gen Zs, they've within a year they can work in 6 places. I'm telling you. And within a year, and I'm grateful to God that my daughter has worked. She said, they said, oh, we need you when you come back from law school to be part of where you worked before. And that is it. I've not had to look for a job. My daughter, for example, had a year in between youth service and law school, and she worked. And she worked well, I think in 2 places, but I was not the one that looked for that. She's been taught to be able to, we need to teach them that I'm very, very much at home. And I'm not agitated over them. But courage, they must have courage and faith. Courage in themselves, faith in God, faith in themselves. They must be humble, patient. All right, humility is key. And then seeking God's guidance. They must be taught to seek God. You must introduce God to your children. They will find small gods for them if you don't introduce them to God. They will find small gods. Yorùbá will say, ẹni tí ò bá lè sin Ọlọ́run, òrìṣà tí ò tó Ọlọ́run ló máa sìn. If you cannot worship God, then you will worship smaller gods. I don't want smaller gods for my children. So we introduce them. It is, so that is it. We need to push them. We need to prepare them like David was prepared. And the heart of David is very, very important. A heart that is quick to repent. A heart that is quick to learn that, oh, if this is wrong, I admit my wrong. Oh, I can change. I can change. A heart that handles Saul in the best way possible. That handles Saul in the best way, that doesn't kick against authority, that does not malign leaders, because he also or she also wants to be the leaders. We must teach them how to work within how to grow up and relate well with even their elders in the house and authority over them in the house, so that when they get to the place of work, they will also learn how to work with authorities and all of that. David had that. Now, let us now look at Absalom. I'm rounding up. Let us look at Absalom. Absalom, because I read a book young years back, The Tale of Three Kings. If you can find that book, go get it and also read. Absalom was to be king after his father, but he did not have the anchor. He did not have the anchor he don't have discipline that it takes as an anchor. He actually rebelled against his father. He had also dealt with one of his brothers, who did something to one of his sisters. And so many things in the life of Absalom. He was rebellious. He had deception. He had arrogance. It's because being proud of yourself and of your heritage and of your work does not mean arrogance. Arrogance is the extreme end of, positive pride. Because we need to distinguish that. I tell you that I want to raise children that will be proud of their authority, their heritage, proud of themselves, but not arrogant. Absalom was arrogant, and impulsivity was so impulsive about his decisions. The anchor that the anchor that Absalom lacked in discipline, he got from the tree that hung him. The anchor. May that anchor, may your children not get that kind of negative anchor in life. The anchor that Absalom lacked in discipline, he got when he hung on that tree that locked his hair up, and he hung there. It was a great time of sorrow for his father. Okay, so in rounding up, steps for making these things happen: plan me time with your children, family meetings, one-on-one. And if in the course of discussion you find that you have offended your children and they are right about it, please, as an African father, don't behave like our forefathers. Apologize. I've had reasons to apologize to my children. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. It makes you real. It makes you very real to them, and you are giving an example to raise their own children. Then praise the positives. Don't always look for what is wrong. We are quick to catch them when they've done wrong, but are you intentional about catching them when they've done right? Are you praising them when they've done right? Are you praising them? Then are you setting clear expectations for them? Do they have clear expectations? Do you sit with them to say, what are you planning? What is the next stage? Okay, what do we expect from you as a child in the house? What do we expect from you as a student while you are learning? What are your own expectations of yourself? Are you teaching them to set goals? Are you teaching them to envision a great future? I mean, my second child participated in party. She is interested in what do they call this? Cooking things, making food and pastries and all of that alongside what she's studying. And she wanted to get involved in a particular competition. I said, just one day, you will not win that. They will not. I said, Daddy, invest in this thing, I will do well. Invest in it. I said, would you be able to, if we put this much money, would you be able to make that much profit for a day of a single? But she went into preparation. She did survey. She began to do even recorded audio video surveys, and what would people want to hit at that program. What she made stickers. Hey, and she had a plan. She came first in that event. She came, and not only did she make money, they also still gave her awards. That is to say, look, you need to let them say, you need to let them soar. All right. So expectations. You yourself may have to even raise your expectations. By the time my second wife talks to you, you want to raise your expectations, because I've trained her to believe in herself and to set high expectations. And then if you want to distract them from the wrong thing, distract them creatively. Even as little children, if you want to distract them, if a child is doing something wrong, you can distract in a very creative manner. Even as adults, there's a way you can talk to them. These are the things I have to share with you, and I know that the time is up. And I hope that I'll be able to reach few people. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. What an incredible section it has been. The comment section has been buzzing. So much feedback, so much. You have shared so much, honestly. When you hit the point that discipline, the disciplinary strategy for raising kings should be dignifying. That one stood out for me. If you don't have a mentality, if you don't have a mindset, you cannot raise kings. Who has been here and has been following? What was that word that stood out for you? Share with us. Meanwhile, sir, we would like you to take a drink. All right, just catch your breath. You really have to. And we'll just take a quick word from one of our yarders. I'll be back for the Q&A section. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
Are you putting in the comment section?
Hello
What is
there,
it?
I'm
What?
Amina Ismail. I am a parent in the Intentional Parents Academy. Let me give you a little backstory. So I grew up in a very warm and loving home with amazing parents. We were 6 girls and a boy. So it was this happy and bubbly home. And I believed I had this parenting thing in the bag. And I went ahead to start my own family. I have 4 sons. And then when they started growing, that was when the I started to struggle. While they were younger, it was a lot easier because I had their dad. He's very hands-on too. But as they started to grow, I really did start to struggle. I found it difficult to manage their energy. I didn't know why. I just couldn't connect with them. And so I started to find, how to learn about parenting, how to just understand them better. And that was when I met Coach Wendy, and Coach Wendy helped redefine my parenting process. She just helped me to learn, my childhood. She took me back to my childhood and we started to learn from it. I started to learn from it. And then, we're able to put a name to every challenge we face, and she's able to help you provide solutions to it. And so because of that, I took responsibility and I understood that parenting is about me. It gave me a lot of confidence, not just to help my own boys and myself, but also help other moms raise, a lot more wholesome boys, because that's what I do presently. So I understood parenting is about me. And because of that, I was able to empathize with my kids. And, when you come from a place of empathy, they're able to, key into all of those structures you put and all of those teachings that you're giving them. And because of that, they are now able to be a lot more independent and a lot more expressive than they used to be before. They're able to just take decisions, and though we're not where we want to be, we're definitely not where we used to be. And so it's been a very beautiful process. How the coach do this? Coach does it is by, help. For every day you wake up to a voice note telling you what is most important and what you should do. Every week we have a webinar that is addressing one life problem or a parenting problem. And then the book reviews are constantly there to remind you that you have a community, everybody sharing their stories, and so you don't feel alone. And whenever there are challenges, it's like you have a toolbox for every challenge, right? So whenever there's a challenge, I just go and pick up a tool and use, and that with time and consistency you find solutions to that problem. And so this is me inviting you to come into the ark. We call it Noah's Ark, where you're safe from all of these terrible things that are going on out there today. So we're asking you to jump into the ark, join the Parenting Intentional Parent Academy, and I can't wait to see you in 2025 in the TIP Inner Circle. All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Yes, we are back. We can't wait to have you in the inner circle. And please, if you are here to follow our speaker, kindly do us a good favor, because this conference is actually free, but then we need to follow our speaker. So kindly follow Coach Akin Alabi on his social media handle. It's being displayed on the screen. Kindly do us a favor. Follow him. If you have questions, again, that we can't take now, just go and share with him. Let him take those questions. So please, sir, let's see if we have questions so that we can quickly take them. I think people are still raving over the moment. They are still sharing their aha moment. Okay, there's a question, sir. This question says, please, can you suggest someone training methods to be adopted in disciplining a child?
I need to get that right. So suggest what?
I think a training method. Just suggest training methods that can be adopted in training a child.
Well, for me, it has been, you need to, for me, it's an organic thing, but then, of course, with some plans. For example, I have my plans written out and set, and then you need to have what I call scheduled family meetings. Like I was saying, it's scheduled meetings. Like, this is the family meets so time, maybe twice a month or once a week to address issues, and then while you do that, it's not a time to judge anybody. It's a time to just support one another and to go over what has happened, but also the one-on-one, the me time that you need to establish with each child. You need to do that. You need to put that in place. So for me, it's not so much of too rigid approach to it. You cannot be too rigid because you are raising a human. So you need to make it as real as possible, but be intentional. Be intentional. Set that. Have a plan written out. Go work with them to have people that can work with them to have a goal set. If they are little children, you need behavior modification plan, you need behavior policy, you need some kind of logical consequences and the for actions in place. You need some plans also to praise them. You can have a jar. You can have a reward jar in the house. You can have a reward jar in the house. You can have also a consequence jar, where once they've done something, they can go and pick. If it's for reward, they go and pick a reward and they get it, and you celebrate them. If it is consequence, that we train teachers to do that. And even at home, they can have consequence jar, reward jars, where they pick things. And they do that. And what are in those things? Actually, the consequence, and also you cut off their head. No. It could just be some ways to manage their behavior, maybe chores, maybe some other things that you deny them, and all of that. If, for example, you see a child that is attached to a particular gadget, you see, because I tell parents, if I can see what my child is so strongly attached to, then I found something to modify behavior. So I found something to modify behavior, yes, because I can now withdraw that, and then I can give it back. If you do what I expect, I can give you can use this for 30 minutes if you have given us the things that we expect from you. So, yeah.
Okay, I guess this person that asked this question is a non-yarder. We have a lot of structures in the yard. That's why you need to join the inner circle. You need to join the inner circle. All the details you need to join is right there on the screen, because in the inner circle, we have structures and systems that are running that can help, adopt. And also you can read Coach Wendy's book, Discipline That Works, a fantastic book to answer your question. Now, there's another question. We'll just take this and we'll be out of here, because we need to start the next section. How do you help a child who is academically distracted?
Okay, how do you help a child who is academically distracted? I mean, I've been in that's the field I've operated in for years. First of all, you need to find out why. There's what I call the diagnosis of behavior. Why is this child distracted? Is it because this child does not have an understanding of what is going on in school? Is it that this child, my child was having issues while in primary school until we found that it was astigmatism. The child was not, I would go to school and say, sit in front. Why are we sitting at the back? Until we found out it's astigmatism. And that had to be corrected. So distractions could also be peers at school. Distractions could be anything, but then you also need to work with school to find out exactly whether the teacher is the right mix, or whether the child doesn't have anything that is actually distracting you off learning. So you need to find out, work on yourself at home, follow up on the child, and then also connect with school to find out exactly what is going on, so that you can guide the child in the right path. There are a lot of things to do along those lines, but it is not to go to school and fight teachers and fight school. It is to partner with school for a child's progress. And then also at home, find out what you can do to what is distracting him, and then be able to, like what I was saying, if there's a distractor, like a gadget, withdraw that from him and say, until you are putting an hour of study, you don't get 20-30 minutes of the gadget. Yeah. And then you are good. And so you are, as if you are taking it away totally, but you are using it as a reward now, and as a behavior education tool to get him to do what he needs to do. And that will be my answer on that.
Thank you so much, sir. That was the resounding answer. We would have to let you go, but then don't forget to follow Coach Akin on his social media, and very important, please go there and share with him how his section was. Please, we are grateful to you, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Yes, to everyone, all our audience that have been following from day one up until now, don't give up, because we still have more sections to go after now. And tomorrow we will be wrapping up. But trust me, for me, it's like we should just continue. What do you think, Chini?
Oh yes. Even for me, like I was telling you before we came up stage, I was like, whoa, the fire was kept for the last. So it's fire till the very last session. Please don't go away. Please don't forget that the conference continues till the end of the day, until tomorrow. Your life will not remain the same. And like we have said, please, some of the questions, I saw some questions. One person said, oh, I'm always losing it. I'm always losing I'm always angry, beating my children. All these things will be sorted out when you come into the yard. The information for the inner circle is scrolling. In fact, running now, just running
now. We can't overemphasize it. It has been discipline, is structure, discipline is routine. We can't overemphasize it. When you come in, you will understand better.
To our amazing audience, thank you so much. And to Coach Wendy and the TIP team, we are grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. We see you all in the next section. Please don't leave.
You.
Stay on. We are going to be live soon. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joy Eshimokai, and I am the lead coach here at ProSpeak Live Academy.
Welcome to ProSpeak Live Academy. At ProSpeak Live Academy, we believe that effective communication is the key to success. Our mission is to nurture the public speaking skills of adults, teenagers, professionals, business organizations, and anyone willing to learn, helping them overcome their fears and find their voices. Our comprehensive curriculum includes hands-on training, interactive sessions, and practical exercises that cover everything from body language to speech delivery and audience engagement. We offer personalized feedback and mentorship to help each student develop their unique style and strengths. From intensive bootcamps to free public speaking classes, we provide numerous opportunities for all our students to practice and excel. We have trained professionals from various organizations, held diverse free classes, and conducted amazing bootcamps for preteens and teenagers. We have collaborated with excellent coaches and authored effective public speaking materials and resources that are available for sale. Join us at ProSpeak Live Academy and be a part of the transformative journey. Let's unlock the power of your voice together. To register for the 6-month Speak Out Bootcamp for your teenagers and also our August Bootcamp or one-on-one sessions, call or WhatsApp 090-6653-7703. Follow us on our social media platforms at ProSpeak Live or contact us today to learn more about our programs and how to enroll.